MegaPodTastic.
Good morning, MegaPodlings. It's Krazy Joe. I'm back at Water Tower Cinema, and we are here to see a movie that is my podcasting co-host, Jacob's, most anticipated film, I think, of the summer. Maybe I'm wrong on that. One of his most anticipated films, Spiral from the Book of Saw, the long-delayed Saw sequel by Chris Rock, which I'm very interested in because the Saw movies, I think they're hit or miss. I like some of them, I don't like others. But the idea that Chris Rock, of all people, was like, I got to make a Saw movie, it's not something I would have expected, and I'm really curious to see what he has to say. You'll also notice I'm wearing a mask. Mask mandates are kind of up in the air right now. Obviously, the CDC said you don't have to wear a mask if you're fully vaccinated, and I am fully vaccinated, but individual businesses are able to make the decision for themselves. I know Target, Walmart, several big chain stores are now saying you don't need a mask. But I don't yet know what the policy is at the movie theater. If the policy at the movie theater is I don't need a mask, I'm taking this thing off. But I don't know yet. We'll find out. Right off the bat, I don't see a sign that says anything about masks. Here it is, Spiral. And today, we're in Theater 6. So far, I'm the only one here. And I already staked my claim. Back row, middle. Best seat in the house. I was told that the current rule here is once you're in your seat, you can take your mask off. Out in the common areas, they want you to keep your mask on, which is very good compromise. So, here we go. Spiral from the Book of Saw. Check it out. Find out if this is any good very soon. Spiral from the Book of Saw. This is the 9th film in the Saw franchise. And let me give you my little history with the Saw franchise before we get into Spiral. I saw the first four Saw movies. And I liked Saw 1 through 3. I did not care for Saw 4 at all. And in fact, when I saw Saw 4, I thought there was really no way forward for this franchise. I thought they were trying to milk a dead horse, beat a dead horse, milk a dead horse. I don't know. I thought they were trying to just take the franchise farther than it could go. The main antagonist, Jigsaw, spoiler alert to a movie that is over a decade old, he dies in Saw 3. And I thought Saw 1 through 3 were actually a pretty good little trilogy. They were kind of smart movies that fit together really well. I thought they were fairly well done. But then we got to Saw 4, and I just did not care for it. And I thought, there's really nowhere to go. So I never bothered seeing Saw 5, 6, or 7. They came out, and I just skipped them because I kind of had checked out after Saw 4. Never saw 4 again either. Only saw 4 the one time in 2007 in the movie theater opening weekend. Never bothered to revisit. Whereas I saw the first 3 a few times. Between 2004 and 2010, there was a Saw movie every single year, usually around Halloween time. They didn't miss a single year between '04 and 2010. They kind of became something of a Halloween tradition for Lionsgate. But due to diminishing returns, they decided in 2010 with Saw 7, aka Saw 3D, Saw the Final Chapter, that they were going to pull the plug and just let this franchise rest. Of course, that never really works out, and in 2017 they decided to come back with a reboot called Jigsaw. Now, there's multiple kinds of reboots in this world. There is the reboot that ignores everything that came before and starts from scratch and just kind of wipes the slate clean. But there are reboots that are just an attempt to jumpstart the franchise that do acknowledge the previous continuity. That was the kind of reboot Jigsaw was. It was the kind of film that did not disavow the first 7 films. They happened. It was just kind of a restart. Now, whereas I skipped Saw 5, 6, and 7, I actually went to see Jigsaw. I did see Jigsaw in the movies, and I kind of liked it. I thought Jigsaw was a pretty good movie. So here we get to Spiral. And Spiral's very, very interesting because it's been several years since Jigsaw now. Jigsaw came out in 2017. And this movie was conceived of by Chris Rock. Comedian Chris Rock came up with the idea for Spiral. He went to Lionsgate and said, "Hey, I got an idea for a Saw movie." That alone is intriguing. The idea that Chris Rock, a guy who's not known for the horror genre, he's known as a comedian, the fact that he went to Lionsgate and was like, you gotta let me do a Saw movie. That's interesting. And it makes you say, well, what did Chris Rock have in mind that drove him to insist upon being in a Saw movie? So I was really, really fascinated by this movie going in the door. Also with Chris Rock and Sam Jackson, they might be the 2 biggest named stars to ever appear in a Saw movie. Obviously, Danny Glover was in the first one. Danny Glover was at one time a fairly big star, but by the time he did Saw 1, his star had kind of fallen. He was not the big box office draw he was in the Lethal Weapon days by '04. So he kind of was a falling star, shall we say. and Cary Elwes was in a couple of them. Robin Hood, Men in Tights, Cary Elwes. He was in a couple of the Saw movies. But people knew who he was. He had a few hit movies. He never was a huge star, though. So I'd say Chris Rock and Sam Jackson are probably the biggest named cast members we've ever seen in one of these kind of movies. So that brings us to the question, is Spiral from the Book of Saw any good? I'm going to say it's okay. I was not blown away by this movie. Didn't love it. Don't think I'll ever watch it again. But it's better than Saw 4. Now, maybe I got to watch Saw 4 again. It may not be fair to say that because we're talking about a movie I haven't seen since opening weekend in '07. Never bothered to watch it again. But from my initial first viewing reaction, I did not dislike Spiral as much as I disliked Saw 4. Saw 4 made me never want to see a Saw movie again. Spiral's biggest problem is it's boring. It's kind of a boring movie. It feels less like a horror film and more like a police procedural. It's really, the emphasis is on the cops. It's the cops, and specifically Chris Rock trying to solve this case. And there's more police investigation in this movie than there is actual horror and the traps that Jigsaw was known for and that kind of stuff. We get less of that and more just cops trying to crack a case, which is fine if you're into that kind of thing. Obviously, people love shows like Law and Order, so there's people who like police procedurals. Police procedurals have never been my thing. I never was a Law and Order viewer. I never was a CSI viewer. That was never my genre. So I found this a little dull. Found myself kind of watching the old watch there, like, how are we going on this? And that's not good for a movie that's only 90 minutes. 90 minutes, it was a 90-minute runtime that felt much longer to me. I was not terribly enthralled with the plot of this film. It is trying something a little different. It's trying to have a bit of a message. It's trying to be maybe, I don't know. It's kind of trying to tap into current events. There's very much a tie-in with police corruption and obviously with the whole Black Lives Matter movement and things that we saw last summer. Police brutality and police corruption has been something that has certainly been in the news cycle for the past year. So that makes this one a little bit more of a hot topic Saw movie than your average Saw movie, which is just, a quote unquote torture porn is the phrase that was kind of coined to describe the Saw franchise. This one actually feels like it has something it wants to say. That's not a bad thing. And in fact, that could work in a better movie. If the movie was more well-written, more engaging, there could be something to that. I don't really feel it works here. And that's not because of the message they're trying to convey so much as I didn't think the movie was interesting enough. So it didn't, your message is kind of going to get lost if the audience is bored. Then again, maybe the general audience is going to love this. I don't know. Like I said, Law & Order is a hit show. I don't like it. I don't watch those kind of shows, but other people do. So maybe a police procedural horror film is just going to wow the public. I don't know. But personally for me, I have seen 6 out of 9 Saw films. I've seen 6 out of 9 Saw films. And of the 6 Saw films I have seen, this is my second least favorite. My least favorite being Saw 4. This is my second least favorite. I don't really feel a need to watch Spiral again. If you're a hardcore fan of the Saw franchise, by all means, check it out. It's not... you're probably going to like it more than I did. But this isn't something I ever need to see again. So I think this is a middle-of-the-road film, and it's certainly on the lower end of the spectrum in the Saw franchise. But hey, it's a new movie playing in theaters, and God knows we had a shortage of those for a long, long time. And some of you may have been waiting like a year to see this, because this is a film that got held back. So go check it out. If you're even a little bit intrigued, go check it out. But it is not a film that I personally can recommend. All right, guys. Until next time, keep wearing those pajamas. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please like this video. And remember, we do a live stream almost every Tuesday night, Crazy After Dark. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'd like to see you there. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open it, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them bitches, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander Adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.